what that danyo, what that dine, and go danyo, oh, what that dine. This is the Black Pot. AKA Kukushunum, where we speak truth to power. Now here we don't criticize, but if we must criticize, we'll only just criticize to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we are in the service of God and country. This is the Black Pot. Oh my God, have mercy. AKA Kukushunum. And remember, here we do not criticize. As we tell you already, if we must criticize, it must be on one condition: to build and not to destroy. We are in the service of God and country, because this is the voice of the people, and the voice of the people is the voice of God. This is the Black Pot. My brother, my sister, today we have a number of issues we want to look at. Number one, from the newsreel, it's taken from 3 News, my own 3news.com. And it says, Kung Fu Anoche Teaching Hospital records 500% increase in stroke cases over 40 years. And I read, Professor Stephen Safo, consultant neurosurgeon at Kung Fu Anoche Teaching Hospital, Professor Stephen Safo has disclosed that there has been a surge in the cases of stroke recorded at the facility. He says Kung Fu Anoche Teaching Hospital admitted at least 1,000 persons with stroke-related ailments last year. This, he stated, is about a 500% increase to what the hospital was recording 40 years ago in 1980. But said currently, Kung Fu Anoche Teaching Hospital has trained specialists, radiologists, and other essential medical practitioners, including neurologists, to treat patients better. I leave it here. Yes, I leave it here. Now, first and foremost, what do you think accounts for the 500% increase in the cases of stroke at Kung Fu Anoche Teaching Hospital alone? What is the reason? Could it be that more people are now reporting to the health facility? Or could it be that the cases are naturally increasing? Or could it be that some people have decided to move away from herbal treatments as they did and alternative treatments and are all heading towards the Kung Fu Anoche Teaching Hospital for treatment? Now, what is the cause of stroke at all? My brother, my sister, a layman like me will tell you that in the layman's terms. Number one, now when you have high blood pressure, you have the tendency of developing a stroke. Now, when the pressure in your blood vessels increase, for that matter, the heart is forced to pump blood, but the blood veins are actually very narrow. It causes what is called pressure in the blood vessels. And what happens next? When they burst because of the pressure, you certainly are going to develop a stroke. That is why it is important for you to go check your pressure every now and then. But what would make a man's blood vessels narrow up to cause pressure? Cholesterol, nothing more than that. Those of you who have developed the bad habit of eating animals, those of you who were supposed to treat animals as your friends, but you treat them as your food, this is your portion. Hardly would you find a vegetarian, hardly would you find a vegan develop a stroke, unless it is associated with witchcraft and wizardry. where a man can get pregnant in these times. My brother, my sister, on a more serious note, stroke is basically what you eat. If you get up and you eat pork, you get up and you eat cow, you get up and you eat sheep, goat. Some of you are so greedy, you even eat akokono, aka worms. Some Ghanaians even eat termites. Some people eat dogs. Some people, my brother, my sister, eat things that we cannot even mention on radio. All these things will give you a stroke. I've had a couple of family members develop strokes, and I saw how they passed away. So sad. Some of them lose the function of half of their bodies. They drag one foot, mostly the left one, where the heart is located. My brother, my sister, this is a clarion call to those of us who have developed very terrible tastes buds. We hate vegetables in this country. If you are a vegetable seller in Ghana, you will go hungry. You will never build a house in Ghana selling vegetables. Everybody is heading towards meat, flesh and blood. Everybody wants to eat something bloody. My brother, my sister, at the end of the day, you will develop a stroke. Sadly, when our people develop the stroke, they blame it on witches and wizards and enemies. Yet when they were busily drinking their wines on pork, when they were busily, oh my God have mercy, eating their beef and mutton, eating akokono and eating akrantie every now and then, my brother, my sister, they never thought about it. We are so greedy and so terrible in this country that we even eat the feces of akrantie. What's wrong with you? I'm not against anybody's culture, but I'm asking you, what is wrong with you? You eat the excreta of akrantie. When I was schooling in the Ashanti region, it was a delicacy. And some of them, some friends of mine would even come over to me. Now, I can't even say it on radio. My brother, my sister, think about it carefully. We eat everything in this country, from snakes all the way to bats, all the way to animals we can't even find names for. We eat all those. That is why when anthrax came here, we were dying like mosquitoes. We don't have a culture of eating vegetables. When we go to parties, we are looking for blood, meat. That is what we want. If at a party there's no meat, then it's not a party, it's a funeral. Well, the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital has recorded over 500% of stroke cases in a period of 40 years. You eat fast foods. Wherever you go, fast food. Everywhere you go, you want to drink apetishi. You drink apetishi. The next thing you want to eat is pork. Junk food all over the place. And this is what is making us sick. My brother, my sister, remember that you are what you eat. If you love yourself, be careful. People are developing liver problems. Our brother KK Kabobo just went down the drain from liver issues. One of the things that can give you liver problems is a drinking appetite. When you drink heavily, you end up with things like that. I'm not saying that's what caused KK Kabobo to have it. I am not his doctor. I wasn't his doctor. I didn't diagnose him. But I'm telling you that these are the things that make you sick. My brother, my sister, think about it. Some people are gluttons. They eat too much, even when they are satisfied. As long as they see food again, they want to eat. You will develop a stroke. Be careful. I've seen a lot of friends develop this stroke. There was a friend of mine who was growing too fat, name withheld. He's dead now. I used to tell him, my brother, Are you not bloating? He said, oh, na bella na for waiting. What is the stomach meant for? It's meant for food. The stomach was becoming bigger and bigger. I was worried. Every single second, brother was eating. He kept on eating and eating until he ate his last. My brother, he exploded with a stroke. I do not want you to die from a stroke. And there are some who are so stupid. They will tell you, all die be die. Even if you want, don't eat all these things, you will still die. Something must kill a man. But that something which must kill a man at the right time. We don't want you to visit an early grave. KK Kabobo died and left 16 children with a number of baby mothers. He should have been alive to take care of them, especially the younger ones. But he's gone. They will become orphans. If they don't fall into good families, they might be a burden to us all. My brother, take care of yourself. Don't be a slave to food. Don't be a slave to food. I remember a friend of mine, a professor in one of the universities. He asked me one day, Black Rasta, you don't eat meat, you don't eat fish. You don't drink alcohol, you don't smoke. So what is going to kill you? And I said, I don't understand, sir. He said, every man does something that is not correct. What do you do that is not correct? I know you don't steal. And I know that you don't engage in some of these things. What will kill you? Be careful, my brother. Take your health very seriously, or else we will consider you as selfish. You want to eat everything, and when you die, some people would have to take care of your children. I leave it here. Now, the next thing I want to look at, and I need you to come along, my brother, my sister, is this thing that is awfully terrible. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about it. Let's continue today. It says, court remands 3 suspects over attack on fire officers. And I read, the Kwadasu Circuit Court has remanded 3 persons who were arrested for allegedly attacking fire officers during a fire incident at the racecourse market in Kumasi. Now, the accused persons are Solomon Anaba, 18, Akongoli Adoko, 18, and Lamamia Ishmael, 21, all laborers. Look at the names. You can see where they are coming from by their names. Akongoli Adoko. Everybody knows where Akongoli is coming from. Lamamia Ishmael. We all know where Lamamia is coming from. And the final person here is Solomon Anaba. Anaba. Everybody knows where Anaba is coming from. And look at the jobs they are doing. They are laborers. Every job is very important. Every profession is very important. My brother, my sister, what has a laborer got to do with attacking fire people? It's so sad that a lot of the people from the north are engaged in the so-called menial jobs. If you want security men, watchmen, a lot of them are from the north. Kayaye, a lot of them are from the north. Where doctors meet, where engineers meet, not to say that Kayaye is not good, not to say that being a laborer is not good, but when some people make it their profession, when they have the potential of doing other things that will be considered very high on the societal ladder, then there's a problem. That's why Kwame Nkrumah decided to push education very seriously in the north, so that at least people would also diversify. Some of us who were supposed to be laborers will now be doctors. Some of us who were supposed to be kayaye will now be teachers, lawyers, and so on and so forth. And if you want some of the most violent people in the country, these are the names. Let truth be told. Our Zongos are some of the most violent places. And it's intentional. Politicians intentionally keep the people ignorant. Politicians underdevelop those areas. They only need them when election is here for their thumbprint and their violence to be able to fight off their enemies. Think about it. When you go to America, it's the same thing. In the ghettos, they try to keep them ignorant. They put in all the abortion hospitals in the ghettos. Now they call them inner cities, so that all kinds of crimes are committed there. It's intentional. We need to break away from that chain. Remember yesterday I was saying that fire service is wrong for fire service to say we are going to blacklist any area where we go to and people attack us. That's childish. Let the police do their work. Let the courts do their work. Fire service should never go to any place without police escorts. The police must be there as well. For anything that is violent, the police must be there. So there must be police that is standing by for emergency. The same emergency that you give to the president is the same emergency you must give to the fire service. So that when they go there, they are those who will pave the way for the fire officer to be able to get through and quench the fire. Don't say you blackmail the place, blacklist the place. No. I'm glad that these guys have been arrested. I'm glad that the courts will do their work. When we start putting them away, people will learn common sense. And I want to encourage especially people in the north to try and climb up the ladder. We have done too many menial jobs in the past. Now I am seeing a lot of northern people rising to the top. Let it be the norm. In the days when Northerners refused to send their children to school, those days are all gone. Nkrumah pushed forward for us to be able to do more. Take advantage of this. Educate your children. Push them to the highest part of life. And don't leave them where everybody is. My brother, my sister, think about it. Now the last thing I want to look at today, and that will be all, my brother, my sister, is this thing here that is funny. And today we decided to take all, social interest stories, human interest stories. This one says, air travel is senselessly expensive and difficult in Africa. Threatens AFSTA. That's the law professor. And I read, now the high cost of air travel within Africa is likely to affect the smooth delivery of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFSTA, initiative. That's the Dean of the University of Professional Studies, Accra, APSA, law professor, Professor N.S. Kofi Abochi, has said. Now, Professor Abochi described air travel within Africa as senselessly expensive, and he attributed the high cost of air travel to protectionism, taxes, and fuel cost. I lead it here. Hear this. I remember I was going to fly to England, and the cost was quite manageable, 6-hour flight. Then when we returned from England, I wanted to fly to Benin. It was 3 times the cost of flying to London from Ghana. Then I said, let's go to Ethiopia on a pilgrimage, Rastafari pilgrimage. It was 4 times the cost of traveling to the UK. And I asked myself, remember in the days when all our mobile phone calls and even our landline calls would have to go through England before going to any other person we're going to speak with? It's colonialism. They make it difficult for you to integrate. It is beyond just fuel costs and taxes. It is a calculated attempt to disintegrate you, never to make you integrate. The day Africa unites is the day Africa shall realize its real potential. They don't want you to reach there. They saddle you in debt. They make sure that you continue to eat the crumbs from off the table. They make sure that you become non-entities. Why should I be flying to Benin here and the air flight is so terrible? And some people tell you, oh, it's because of the lack of passengers. A lot of people want to go by road. For that matter, the airline has to fly with just a few people, and they have to be able to meet their costs. And for that matter, they charge you for even people who are not flying. It's terrible. Africans must own their own airlines. Africans should be able to open the borders. If you thought flying was so sickening, try to go by road. You would swear that it was a mistake you were African. Try to go to Nigeria. At the summer border is like the gates of hell. Nigerians even prevent fellow Nigerians from going in. They want to take money from them before they go in. You can show them a whole library of documents. They don't care. They will ask you, na document, na paper we they chop. Na paper we go chop. Settle. Such foolish people there. Such foolish Africans who are not ready to open the borders for African people to unite. When I am in Holland, I drive all the way through Germany, drive all the way through Belgium, and drive all the way into Paris. And if I want to go, I go more. No single policeman stops me at any border. I just pay my taxes, my road tolls, and there I am, flying like the kite. But here, every border, they want to inject you. And when you look at the syringes they are injecting people with, it looks like they were manufactured in 20 BC. Very, very sickening. Some of them as dirty as the dirtiest thing you can think of on earth. Why do you do this to your fellow Africans? The other day I was going to Benin by road. I like to travel by road. I don't like air travel because I fear flying. When I got to Benin, in fact, at Togo, border there, they wanted me to pay money. And I asked them why. They said, because you are entering Togo. I said, yes, it's the same Africa. We are all part of the OAU. And at the same time, the ECOWAS. He said, it doesn't matter. I needed to pay. I said, I don't have to pay. He said, you must pay. I said, I will not pay. He said that you must return to your country, you arrogant idiot. My brother, my sister, there was a concert I needed to play in Benin. When they finally allowed me to pass, they asked me if I had the papers for meningitis. I said, yes. Do you have the papers for yellow fever? I said, yes. Then they thought about another disease and started speaking French to me. Plenty French. I said, well, I can manage with the French, but the technical names of diseases you are mentioning to me in French, I do not understand. The man said it was not his problem. He needed to inject me for a disease I did not know. Why must we inject me? He said he must inject me before I will pass. I said, are you injecting everybody here? Benin was the same thing. Dirty syringes, they wanted to inject me. Why? Is it a biological warfare? I leave it here. Well, my name is Black Rasta. I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you. My guest, Dr. Anthony Richards, is in the house. Yeah,